Okay, and now we're back, and we actually have the director, Beatrice Surano, with us on a Zoom call. So hello, Beatrice. It's nice to have you here.
Hello. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you a lot. I'm really happy to be part of this festival.
Well, we're happy that we could just make it work that we could talk to you during the festival. So thank you. I know I just kind of introduced you, but I'm sure you could do a much better job. Can you just tell us, a little bit about yourself, where you're living, and how you became a filmmaker?
Okay. Yeah. uh, yeah. A really simple question. No, I'm from Italy. Actually, I'm in Turin, in the northern part of Italy, and I start filming actually during my sociology degree because I am a sociologist, and because I wanted to do research, but not writing my results, but I was passionate with images and movies, so I wanted to give back the result of my research with images. So I started to do videos, documentaries, and then I switch off. I'm not a academic sociologist anymore. I'm a director, so I try to take this formation in my job, but I developed my own style.
So, I mean, not exactly the straight path, but I'm sure it was very interesting. Do you feel like your background has played into the way you approach the films you direct?
Yeah, a lot, of course. I'm not coming from an art school, so of course it was a bit tough to reach like all these also visual skills and technical skills, and I studied a lot by myself. But of course, if I wouldn't do sociology, I think I would develop a really different approach to the movies, because before filming, I keep this research approach also in Spectrum APR, the movie that you already saw. For me, there is a big part that come before the shooting, and I use a lot of techniques that I learned during my degree in sociology, and also the topic is fundamental because I am an environmental sociologist. So I studied a lot of topic concerning the urban space, the relationship between human and space, cities and rural areas. So I think that all this stuff just are really, this stuff that I learned are really useful for my job, and really shaped my point of view, my way of approaching the stories.
Can you elaborate a little bit more in terms of Spectrum APR in general, kind of what led you to go this route and how you started seeing this storyline in a way develop?
Yeah. First of all, Spectrum APR was a project that I developed during an a film residency. We were a bunch of filmmakers and photographers, and we were asked to explore some urban areas in Milan, all these areas were suburbs, stigmatized suburbs, because they were multicultural areas coping with a lot of violence and drug dealing, a lot of stuff. These kind of areas that became famous just on the newspaper, on the media, when something bad happens, but actually nobody cares a lot about that. So, we were asked to give a different point of view on this story. So it's not a project that I developed. I went to Milan, I discovered this neighborhood, and I started filming. But it came. They asked us to explore and research. So I started to I really, I was really impressed by this area. First of all, this Via Padova, that is a really long street, starting from the Piazzale Loreto in Milan, like near the city center, and ending to in the highway. So, and this street was changing a lot during its development, and I saw. As I was saying, I start to explore, research, talking with people living there, and then expanding a bit the research to the near areas like Adriano, the one that you see at the beginning of the movie. It was because in 2019 it was an area under construction, so like. Was a sort of moonscape, and then there was another area that was Rizzoli, that is a popular area built around a fabric, so an industry, and this so APR stays for Adriano, Padova, and Rizzoli. So I start researching and interviewing people. So this here it comes, or my sociology background, and I was walking around, cycling around, taking the bus around these areas, and I start feeling all that there were specific rhythmic combination that were connecting the areas, and talking with people, I start seeing this place in a different way, and so I start to write down all these feeling that I had. And then I start to I try to recreate and give back my impression, my journey, because it was actually a circular tour around these areas. And so I create this sort of soundtrack made by impression, some sound recording, and so on. And the importance of my background here is because when I did my thesis, I studied a lot of socio-technical systems. So these systems where their interaction, that are cities are socio-technical systems, buildings are socio-technical systems. So I start approaching this area in this way. So you have technical parts, so buildings, architecture, urban area, streets, railways, and all these boundaries that shapes humanities. But also you have the social part, the people that shapes and give meaning to this reality. So the human figure is quite rarefied in this product, but actually it was fundamental to have to copy with people and talk with people to develop this project. So this is, I think that, I don't know if I asked your question, but
you did. And you may have kind of answered this, but were there any things in particular in the process that kind of surprised you or stuck out to you that you weren't really expecting?
From this area?
Yeah, from the area, whether it be from just the process of creating this film or just something throughout the entire journey. Did something stick out to you or surprise you?
Yeah, there were a lot of surprises actually, because this is my first short film really that I really did on purpose. So the short film that I did before were just a lot of I tried to do something, but this I consider my first short film. So I was surprised how all the feeling were just coming to my mind, and actually what you saw there was really similar at the beginning of my journey. So it's I don't know how to explain that. All the images came to my mind just feeling this area. And so it was surprising to me, because I never felt so connected with an area, and never felt so connected to a product that I was going to do and shoot and record, and so. And I worked both on images and sound. After with the sound, for the sound, I worked also with a colleague, Francesco Amelio, but I took care of everything. And about the area, I was surprised because, of course, the image that I had before from this area was a really, really bad area. Before, when I started walking there, I was quite also worried because it was. They told me that it was dangerous going there by myself by night. It was winter, so a night came really, really early, but then I discovered people and the people living there, really the people that were really attached to this place. They opened the door for me. Like I was like not in the city of Milan, but like in a small town inside Milan. And so it opened my mind. And I think I started to see all these places from another point of view, meeting people, this city gardener really old that were offering me food and stuff. And no, I don't know, there are a lot of hidden places there that actually are really really rich and really live. And so this was a really surprise, like if you are opening a box and then inside you find another box. And I came back after this in this year. I always, when I go to Milan, I always come back to Via Padova in this area because I feel like it is a second home, sort of a second home there.
That sounds like a very beautiful way to kind of explore a city and get to know the people that live there. So what can you tell us about what you're working on next? Hopefully you can at least tell us something about it, maybe.
Yeah. Now I have some short movies that are going around festival, but actually I'm working on another personal project that is not about a urban areas, but a rural area in Italy too. It's called Irpinia in the Campania, is the region of Italy, and is an area that have a lot of that is a process of depopulation. So, because there are not a lot of possibilities to work there and for young people, so it's really really few people live there. And I went there during the lockdown for another project, and I met this guy Vito, that is a young man that came back to live there. He was originally from there, then traveled around and worked abroad, and then he came back. And what he found was literally an army of wind turbines that were replacing homes and people. So it's I cannot say a lot more, but it's another relationship between human and space, but between human and the absence of humans, and so the speculation of the on land, on territories, and on the southern part of Italy that is in danger, environmentally speaking. So, and I start shooting something already, and I will come back on February. I hope to see something soon going on.
That's great. Well, Beatrice, thank you so much for taking this call and answering these questions on the spot. We really appreciated seeing your film, and we look forward to seeing that project on Campania next time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Have a nice festival.
Ciao.
Bye.